Alright, so as we watched that video of the scare floor from Monsters, Inc., we saw that monsters come in all shapes and forms, and that they come in all sorts of, and I do want you to write this in your book, we're going to use 2 pages for this project. T-E-X-T, we're not texting, okay, U-R-E. We are talking about the art element of texture, and that's how things feel. So if I brought over, let's say, these llamas. If I wanted to go out and pet a llama, I would say that the llama is very soft. Well, that's how it looks on paper, but if I wanted to bring over a llama that is actually soft, you can see that there's actually different types of textures. I got this one in Peru. So there's soft, smooth, rough, slimy, all these different sorts of textures. So go ahead and with me, and we are going to draw out some circles with textures. So let's draw 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they don't have to be perfect. You can see that mine are a little bumpy lumpy in a few places. Alright, so textures. So we can, talking about bumpy lumpy, B-U-M-P-Y, bumpy. So let's give our first one some warts. And let's make it actually look bumpy. Alright, so bumpy, that's how we would make it look bumpy. And our brain says, hey, that circle's now lumpy bumpy. If I felt it, it would feel like, I don't know, something that's lumpy and bumpy. Alright. Furry or soft. When we think of soft, we think of kind of a cotton texture to it, or maybe the soft hair on a dog or a cat. So we can actually use line, since that's one of our elements of art, to say that this is fuzzy. Soft and furry. The circle kind of ruins it, but it's soft and furry. Alright. Next texture that, let's see, I can think of would be scaly. S-C-A-L-Y, scaly. This is something that it would look like the scales on a snake. Right, so start with a bunch of U's at the top, and in between each U, you draw another scale. You would actually, if you petted a snake, be able to feel, even if they're a very smooth kind of snake, like a boa constrictor, feel the scales, and especially if you ran your hand backwards on the snake, which granted they don't like that very much, you would be able to feel the scales lift up underneath your fingertips. Fun fact, snakes actually have 2 different kinds of skin. They have the skin that develops the scales on top, and a softer, more leather-like skin underneath that helps keep the scale layer healthy. Alright, so scaly. And last but not least, for our monsters, SLIMY, slimy. And when you think of slimy, it's sticky and gets everywhere and it drips. So we're going to actually draw drips. Let's start with what look like doggy ears. They can be even or uneven. But this ball is going to ooze, come down and give a Yui right there. And we can even emphasize that part of it has fallen off and that is dripping at this point. It is really oozing. Whenever we see something like honey or slime mold or other things that are oozy and goozy and bleh, they are shiny. So let's add a shine to this to definitely let the figure know that it is shiny and slimy and sticky, and you really don't want to touch that. Some of y'all may. I don't know. Alright, so now that we've talked about textures and how to draw textures, catch me in the next video for your project.